Now we started with the peripheral nerve system. It has a lot of parts to it because obviously with simple nerves we just had the brain and spinal cord. Even though they had lots of subparts, there's two basic regions. Here I have two basic regions, but there are tons of parts in each of those regions. And I can't just go through all of them, so we're going to do some basic concepts here. So in general, they're made of nerves. That's the key thing. And the question is, what is a nerve? We talked about nervous tissue, we talked about neurons and neuroglia, but what is actually a nerve? And we also have ganglia. Ganglia, also another concept here we've had before. If you had my biology class, we talked about ganglia a little bit. They're gangs of nerve cells. And then we have sensory receptors, the ones that pick up the information from our environment. So let's start with the nerves. And the concept is, a nerve is basically a big, long bundle of fibers. Think of the ends of the axons being all bundled together, wrapped together with connective tissue to protect them, and then going in the same direction. So a bunch of highways all run in the same way. Or the cords, like on your computer, the cords in the wires in your house, have these little wrapped up bundles that are wrapped up in bigger bundles, wrapped up in bigger bundles. That's a nerve. So the cranial nerves, their job is they're coming from the brain. They're all connected directly to the brain and then coming off of the brain. There are 12 pairs of them. So there's only 12 pairs of cranial nerves. They each have a different function and name. So we'll start this way. We number them and we also give them a name for each of their purpose. First one is the olfactory. It's number 1. It's the first pair. Its job is the sense of smell. It's just a sensory nerve. It's just picking up information from your nose and carrying it directly to the deep part of your brain so your brain can interpret smell. It's a short, quick little thing from your nasal passages straight up into your brain. Second one, number 2, is the optic nerve. The optic nerve is the sense of sight. Obviously, again, sensory ones coming straight from the eyeballs all the way back into our brain. Oculomotor, number 3. Its job, it's a little bit of both. It does both sensory and motor. It has two-way traffic. Movement of the eye controls light entering the eye. So it helps to regulate our iris to keep things coming in and out of our eye. The trochlear nerve, number 4. It's also mixed. Another movement of the eye. Your eye is very important, so it has a lot of little small muscles that help you to adjust carefully. So it has a lot of different cranial nerves responsible for differing tasks. It's also a good thing because if one of them fails, the other one should hopefully pick up the slack and be able to continue to make your eyes function somewhat normally. It's moving the eye and eye sensitivity. When you go to the eye doctor and they do little puff tests and things like that, a lot of times they're testing these different nerves to see how they respond by different times rates and things like that. The trigeminal nerve, number 5, also mixed. The name trigeminal means it has 3 basic big branches. It has muscles for chewing on the skin of the jaws. Also has skin in your face, your tear glands, and your upper eyelids. It also comes down here into the lower parts of the jaw and the throat, so it has a lot of different features along the ears, along the throat. It has a lot of functions that way. So you can see here, olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trochlear, and trigeminal is a nice big thick guy right here with 3 big branches on it. The abducens, which is number 6, is also mixed. It's also movement of the eyeball, so it does all the other movements of the eyeball, little small tiny muscles that help to rotate and slightly change the shape of the eyeball. The facial nerve, number 7, really simple to make sense of. It's a mixed one. Its primary job is facial expression. It helps you smile, helps you make little facial gestures, things like that with your face. Also related to the sense of taste a little bit. Vestibulocochlear, it had an older name. This was number 8. It used to be called the auditory because its purpose was hearing, picking up a sense of hearing, and also a sense of equilibrium. That's why we changed it to vestibulocochlear, because it dealt with that sense of equilibrium in our ear. Glossopharyngeal, number 9. The glosso refers to the tongue. It's a mixed one. It has a sense of taste and sense of touch on the tongue and the throat and the mouth. This helps us determine things are in our mouth or touching our mouth as we're eating. The vagus, which is number 10, is mixed. It allows for speech and swallowing. It helps control those 2 actions. The accessory, which is number 11, is a motor one. Just controls the muscles that do speech, swallowing, and movement of the head and shoulders. So it's really controlling us doing a lot of these little things, me talking right now. It controls those muscles that control my vocal cords. The hypoglossal, number 12, is also motor. It helps control the movement of my tongue. It helps me to do little things. Some people have more control, have more muscular ability to it, can do little small weird things with their tongues through genetic abilities, like fold them into different shapes. So there's different people have different abilities, but the same nerve controls all of them. So again, here's the rest of them coming down this way. You see the trigeminal, abducens, facial, glossopharyngeal. Here's your accessory all along the base here. The vagus, hypoglossal, the cochlear. Most of them back here are fairly tiny because there's a lot of space there. There's the mnemonic device. A lot of people have to remember, how do I remember these in order and what's going on? And the old phrase is, on old Olympus' towering top, a Fen German viewed a hawk. Obviously it's using, instead of vestibulocochlear, so using it auditory, so it worked like this. These are the way it worked. On being olfactory, old being optic, Olympus being oculomotor, towering being trochlear, top being trigeminal, A being abducens, Fen being facial, and being auditory or vestibulocochlear, German being glossopharyngeal, viewed being vagus, A again being accessory, and hawk being hypoglossal. It's just a way that people remember it. There's all kinds of different mnemonic devices people use to figure these things out.